What's up, YouTube? We're doing a little discussion today. Today, I wanted to talk about the top 10 beginner yo-yos. Top 10 beginner yo-yos. I don't have 10 yo-yos lined up here. I'm just going to flash pictures of them on the screen. So, if you like lists like this, or if you think I missed anything, leave me a comment down below. But also make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure, because you like the video, it helps me. It helps me to progress the channel, and it helps get the channel out to more people. YouTube changes its algorithm all the time, but hitting likes always helps. So go ahead, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed as well. Anyway, top 10 beginner yo-yos. Number 10, Duncan Butterfly / Duncan Imperial. So, putting them both in the same category because for beginners it doesn't really matter. Neither of them, it's number 10 mostly because it's the most readily available and usually the cheapest option. You can get them for about $3 at Walmart or about $3 at Five and Below, or somewhere closer to $5 just about anywhere else. They are probably the most mass-produced and easiest to get yo-yos, and they work. Now they're not the best; they can be frustrating, and that's why they're number 10. But they work, and they're everywhere, so that's why. Number 9, the Omega Fireball. So, the Omega Fireball is really only on this list for nostalgia reasons for my purposes. It's actually the yo-yo that sparked me and sparked my love of yo-yo. It's sort of in the same category as the Butterfly and the Imperial. They're about $9 or $10, and you can get them at most hobby stores. Toys R Us carried them for a long time, but now Toys R Us is gone, so I don't know if they'll be places. You can usually find them in those little toy stores that pop up at the mall around Christmas time. That's usually what they have, is fireballs and stuff. So, generally readily available, and it's actually the thing that sparked my interest in yo-yo. It's the yo-yo that kind of pushed me into playing yo-yos, so that's why it's on this list. But that is number 9, the Omega Fireball. Number 8, the Duncan Pro-Yo. So the Duncan Pro-Yo is kind of, for me and for lots of 90s people, you'll remember the Playmax Pro-Yo. It's basically the same yo-yo, but it's got Duncan stickers on it, and it's come out in a bazillion different forms, and it's come with a bazillion different stickers on it. You can usually get Ninja Turtles or Despicable Me or just, other promo ones. There's plain ones, and it's cheap. It's, again, I think $4 or $5, and you can pretty much find them anywhere. It's got a wooden axle, which is really great. It's easier to use than the Butterfly or the Imperial, in my opinion. It's much easier to make it go down and come back up, which, for a beginner, throwing and catching is the beginning and the end of every trick. And the Duncan Pro-Yo does that better than any of the other yo-yos I've mentioned thus far, and is still pretty readily available. You can get them at Ollie's or, hobby shops or wherever else. I seem to come into one about every 3 months. So, they're definitely available. You can pick them up. But the Duncan Pro-Yo is number 8. Number 7, the Duncan Butterfly XT. Now we're starting to get into a little bit of better yo-yos. The Butterfly XT has a stainless steel ball bearing in it, and it's available at Target for like $5. So for a lot of the guys who have just sort of started yo-yoing semi-recently in the last 2-3 years, a lot of really good yo-yo players started on the Duncan Butterfly XT. Sam Hicks is one of them. He and I had a big discussion about the Butterfly XT one time. Butterfly XT is very capable, very available, and very cheap. So that kind of fits all of those categories of like beginner yo-yos, and it's fun. I mean, I have one. I play with it sometimes. It's a cool yo-yo. It's readily available. That's really, to me, sort of to be able to spark the interest in yo-yo. You have to be able to get a yo-yo, and it has to be capable out of the box. And I feel like the Butterfly XT is absolutely fits that category very well. You outgrow it pretty quick, but at the same time, not hard to find. So, number 7, Duncan Butterfly XT. Number 6, the Omega Brain. So the Omega Brain may not be today what it once was as far as the ultimate beginner yo-yo, but it's still pretty great, especially for little kids. For those of you who don't know what a Omega Brain is, the Omega Brain was the first yo-yo to have a clutch system in it, meaning that if you had a hard time pulling the yo-yo back up, basically what the Brain did is you threw it down, it spun for a while, and then once the spin started to slow, the clutch would catch in, it would catch the string, and the yo-yo would come back up, and all you had to do was catch it. So, there's a few yo-yos that still do this. Duncan's got one out right now, it's called the Reflex. It's basically the same thing, but it's a butterfly shape. I don't know why you'd want a butterfly shape that comes back on you whenever it wants. Doesn't seem to make sense to me. And that's not really a good way to get started on string tricks now, the way they are. But back when looping was the thing, it was a good way to figure out how to throw and catch, and you could have that, like, help you hop the fence and things like that. So, really for nostalgia purposes and for a lot of guys, you know, who that was how they picked yo-yo up, was Omega Brain. It came back on its own, and then they were able to move up and do a little better. The Omega Brain is on this list. Number 5, the Yo-Yo Factory Plus. This is probably the newest addition to this lineup. This came out just last year. It's also the same as the Ben Condi Around the World. But the Yo-Yo Factory Plus is basically a $5 yo-yo that I've started seeing in stores. I have one, see, here it is. And what can I say about it? It's more or less designed like a Fireball. It's got a transaxle system in it, but it feels more sturdy, and it's more capable. You could totally catch it on the trapeze, and you know, it doesn't drag, and it's just it feels good. It feels very solid. And for $5 and for a beginner yo-yo, it's very capable, and it would be a great yo-yo that's not very frustrating for new players, especially kids, to get into, because you can throw it down, pull it back up without much difficulty. And if you want to move on, get on to some string tricks, throw a trapeze, you know, double or nothing, 1.5 mount, it's very capable for that stuff as well. So kudos to Yo-Yo Factory for putting out the Plus at a very cheap price, and I hope to see these in lots of stores now, because why not? It's cool. Do it. So that was number 5, the Yo-Yo Factory Plus. Number 4, the Sage by Yo-Trix. That's right, the Sage. Now, the Sage is also basically the 1-star, but it's a little bit tweaked from my understanding. I've never actually owned a Sage, but Yo-Trix, it's still sort of their beginner yo-yo. It's the yo-yo that they recommend and they do all their beginner tricks with, because it's the yo-yo that they have Yo-Yo Factory produced for them in a ton of different colors, and you can't go wrong getting a Sage. Now, I feel like the Sage is a little outdated now, which is why it's not further up on this list, but the Sage is still a very solid starter yo-yo, and it's definitely something that can get you into yo-yo and get you moving on your way up that trick ladder so that you can really start to, you know, get into it and move on. So, Sage, while maybe not the best anymore, still absolutely an excellent starter yo-yo, and Yo-Trix puts together a really nice starter package with it. So definitely something cool to check out there as well for all you new yo-yo players or people who are just looking to get into yo-yo. Yo-Trix also has really, really good tutorials and stuff that'll get you on your way. Really nice filmed, really nicely edited, just good stuff. Ben does a good job filming and editing that stuff. He's awesome. Number 3, the Yo-Yo Factory Whip. So the Yo-Yo Factory Whip is $6. That's awesome. And it comes responsive, but you can stick an unresponsive bearing in it, and it's very capable. The only reason that it's not like number 2 on this list is because it doesn't come with a wide bearing as well. For $6, I realize that's like kind of a stretch, but for $6, if it came with a wide bearing, you'd be hard pressed to find a better yo-yo for a beginner. It is incredibly durable. I mean, like, it's made of indestructible stuff, and it's not heavy enough to like warp itself. And it's cool. It's sort of based after the Yo-Yo Factory 888 shape, which is a good shape, and it's neat. I've had 2 or 3. I've given them all away because to kids who are just thought yo-yo was cool and wanted to learn, it's a great yo-yo for that because it's only like $6. They used to be more readily available, but you could still pick them up on like Yo-Yo Factory's website, Yo-Yo Expert, stuff like that. Starting to get into yo-yos that aren't necessarily always in stores, maybe a little bit around Christmas. I know the Whip was pretty popular in Toys R Us around Christmas time, but I haven't seen any lately, which means they all sold, which is good. But yeah, the Yo-Yo Factory Whip is number 3 on the list of top 10 greatest beginner yo-yos. The top 2 yo-yos are both very good, both around $20, but one of them is better than the other because it's a better package. And you do kind of still have to go online to get these, but in my opinion, that sort of drags it down a little bit, but in my opinion, these are still far and away better yo-yos than anything that I've mentioned previously. So let's go with number 2 is the Yo-Yo Factory Replay / Yo-Yo Factory Replay Pro. Now, I wish the Replay, which is the responsive version, came with a wide bearing as well to make it unresponsive, but it does not, at least not here in America. I guess there's European packages that do, but the American packages do not, which is rather unfortunate. But it's definitely a great beginner yo-yo, in my opinion. It was one of the first unresponsive yo-yos I got. It's heavy, it's pretty stable, and it can take a beating, and believe me, for a beginner, you want a yo-yo that could take a beating, and the Yo-Yo Factory Replay is a beast. And it's very capable. I still play with one now. There's one in my desk at work right now, and I've been playing for years, and I have, you know, yo-yos that cost more than $100, but I still play with a $16 Replay Pro. That's the other thing that makes it really good, is it's $16. The responsive one is $15, and all you have to do is get a bearing. Ask somebody nicely, Yo-Yo Club. They'll just give you one. We have extras, I promise. And stick the wide bearing in there. There you go. Now you got an unresponsive beast of a yo-yo that you could play pretty much always. I think it's the only yo-yo on this list that has a national title under its belt, too. So there's that. And number 1, nobody's going to argue with me on this one. The best, absolute best yo-yo for beginners. The Recess First Base. That's right, the Recess First Base. Why is that? It comes responsive. It comes with the extra bearing to swap to unresponsive. It's only $20 for that whole package. The package is beautiful. The yo-yos are awesome, and it comes in a ton of different fun colors. And the yo-yo itself is great. It's very smooth for a plastic yo-yo. It plays just like any other premium plastic yo-yo would. But it comes with a slim bearing in it that's responsive. It works very well right out of the box. You could throw it and catch it easily. It's all strung up, ready to go. Never thrown a yo-yo before? Doesn't matter. Throw, catch. Throw, catch. Recess First Base. It's stable. It's great. It will get you through the entire trick ladder. All of the advanced tricks and anything you want to throw at it. It will take it. I'd still play mine a lot. I've had 3 of them. I've given 2 of them away. And they're fantastic. They are awesome, awesome yo-yos. They're awesome for beginners. They're awesome for guys that play yo-yo a lot. I had Tyler Severance in here, and he was like, yeah, my favorite yo-yo is the Recess First Base. I played a lot. And he still plays it. Like, that's what he had on him. Literally, he had a prototype he was working on, and in his yo-yo pouch, or like on his person, the yo-yo that he was also playing with was the Recess First Base. So, yeah, I mean, it's undeniably, right now, at this moment in time, the best beginner package, the best beginner yo-yo ever. Now, one honorable mention I did want to come up with, I didn't feel like it was so much a beginner yo-yo as it is an intermediate yo-yo, is the Duncan Freehand series. So you have the regular Freehand and the Freehand Pro. I don't feel like they're necessarily as good without modding as the Replay Pro and the Recess First Base. And they're really more intermediate yo-yos. The responsive one isn't very, I don't know, I didn't like it very much. It was a little too light, just felt a little weird. And then when you make it unresponsive, it's clearly an intermediate yo-yo. Or if you get just the Pro version, it's an intermediate yo-yo. It comes with a counterweight. It's really more for it's a good second step type of yo-yo or a good variety type of yo-yo. It's not so much a first step beginner type of yo-yo, in my opinion. So it does kind of get the runner-up. I did want to mention it because it does come as a sort of a beginner package, but it's not the best beginner yo-yo, and I think it doesn't really belong on a list with these 10 yo-yos. But tell me what you think. I need to hear down in the description. Did I miss any beginner yo-yos? Is there something that I should have thought about and put into this video that didn't make it? Tell me down in the comments below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I do videos every single day. I know, it's craziness. I'm going to go to Yo-Yo Club, but thanks so much for watching, guys. Cheers to you. I'll see you next time.